Everyone, welcome to the May 3rd edition of FanDuel Tournament Plays presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at Prize Picks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. Tonight, we have an 11-game MLB slate. And as always, we're going to take a look at 3 of the top tournament stacks and 3 of the top tournament pitchers using the top stacks and top pitchers tool on the Awesemo.com website. Starting with the top stacks on FanDuel. Number 3, the Boston Red Sox are projected for a 4% chance of being the top scoring stack. They have 4% aggregate ownership. They're taking on Noah Syndergaard and the Los Angeles Angels. The Red Sox have been absolutely awful offensively so far this year. 79 WRC plus, only a 114 ISO. Syndergaard, though, hasn't been very good so far either. He's only struck out 16.5% of hitters. He has a 4.14 xFIP. He has yet to allow a home run. But what really interests me with Boston is that Noah Syndergaard has always been horrible at controlling the running game, and this season has been no different. In 3 starts, Syndergaard has already allowed 7 stolen bases. Keep in mind that there's just fewer home runs. There's less offense in baseball today because of the humidors, because of the dead baseballs, because of a variety of factors. So whereas, a couple of years ago, stolen bases in DFS were nice, but it was still difficult to keep up with whatever team happens to hit 6 home runs on that slate. It's pretty unlikely that a team does that much damage offensively on any given slate this season, at least to this point. So targeting stolen bases becomes a lot more appealing than it would have been a couple of years ago. Targeting Noah Syndergaard is a great way to rack up stolen bases in a hurry. Number 2, the Houston Astros, 6% projected ownership, 7% chance of being the top stack. They're taking on Chris Flexen tonight. They have a 4.7 implied run total. Flexen has only struck out 15.6% of hitters this year. He has a 4.2 xFIP. And Houston's been about a league average offense with a 100 WRC plus and 159 ISO. And number 1, the top tournament offense, the Los Angeles Angels, also projected for 7% ownership with a 7% chance of being the top scoring stack. They're facing Michael Wacha tonight in Boston. 4.5 implied run total for the Angels. They are tied with the Yankees for the best WRC plus in baseball so far at 122. We know that they have 2 of the best hitters in the game at the top of their order with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, but you also have some power with Anthony Rendon, Jared Walsh. Brandon Marsh is a promising prospect. Taylor Ward's been hitting really well at the top of this order as well. So it is a pretty solid spot to get to against a league average pitcher in Michael Wacha. Looking at the top 3 tournament pitchers, number 3, Christian Javier, projected for 3% ownership with a 5% chance of being the top scoring pitcher. Javier has only made 1 start this year. He's thrown 13 1/3 innings total, 3 appearances in long relief, 1 start. But in those 4 appearances, he has struck out 31.4% of hitters. He has a 3.36 xFIP. He's taking on a dangerous Seattle team that has a 120 WRC plus and 21.6% strikeout percentage so far this season. But Javier is not projected for much ownership. He does offer plenty of strikeout upside. And at $6,800, he is also, or sorry, wrong price tag. On FanDuel, he is, sorry, didn't have the right page in front of me. On FanDuel, he's $7,800. So, or $7,600. So still inexpensive, just not as inexpensive as he is on DraftKings. Still a pretty nice spot to get to at low ownership. Number 2, Alek Manoah, taking on the New York Yankees, who, as I mentioned before, have a 122 WRC plus this season. They are a very good offensive team, as I think everyone knows. They've struck out 22.2% of the time, but Manoah is only projected for 5% ownership. He has made 4 starts this season and has a 25% strikeout percentage, 3.7 xFIP, 0.72 home runs allowed per 9 innings so far. So certainly someone that has plenty of upside, and he at $10,400, he's expensive. So that is certainly going to keep the ownership in check. And number 1, Carlos Rodon, he has a difficult matchup against the Los Angeles Dodgers. He is $11,100, so $700 more expensive than Manoah, but he's been excellent through his first 4 starts this year. He has struck out 43.2% of hitters. He has a 2.19 xFIP. The matchup against the Dodgers is tough. They have a 110 WRC plus, only a 21.7% strikeout percentage so far this season, but targeting Carlos Rodon at 7% ownership, given the massive upside that he has, is pretty appealing in tournaments as long as you can find some value bats to help offset his salary. So to recap, the top 3 tournament stacks on FanDuel: number 3, the Boston Red Sox; number 2, the Houston Astros; number 1, the LA Angels; and the top 3 tournament pitchers: number 3, Christian Javier; number 2, Alek Manoah; and number 1, Carlos Rodon.